The purpose of the deep squat screen is to assess the mobility and stability of the hips, knees, and ankles. This is the only screen where you'll not be independently assessing the left and right sides of the body. For all the screens in this program, you'll need masking tape and a dowel rod approximately 4 feet long. Begin the deep squat screen by placing a strip of tape a foot length away from a door jamb. Stand with the feet shoulder width apart and toes touching the tape. Hold the dowel rod as you see here, then press it upward. If the height of the doorway prevents you from fully extending the elbows, extend them as you move downward. Lower your body into the squat position as slowly and deeply as possible. Give yourself a pass if all 5 of these criteria are met. Heels flat on the floor, feet parallel with no sliding or rotation, hips below the knees, knees aligned over the feet, and the dowel or any body part not touching the doorway. Common problems with this screen are raising the heels and leaning forward. If you're unable to complete the movement within the criteria provided, you receive a fail for the movement. The purpose of the hurdle step screen is to assess the bilateral mobility and stability of the hips, knees, and ankles. Begin by attaching a strip of tape across a doorway to create a hurdle. The tape should be placed at the same height as the bump on the upper shin, just below the kneecap. Stand with the feet together and a dowel rod placed across the shoulders. Align the front edge of the toes directly beneath the tape. Slowly step over the tape and touch the heel to the floor without putting weight on it. After touching the floor lightly, return to the starting position. Try not to touch the tape as you move the foot over and back. Perform the hurdle step on each side and give yourself a passing grade only if all 3 criteria are met on both sides of the body. Hips, knees, and ankles aligned forward. The dowel doesn't dip to the left or right or touch the doorway, and there is little movement in the spine. If you're unable to complete the movement within the criteria provided, you receive a fail for the movement. Take up to 3 chances per side. The purpose of the inline lunge screen is to assess hip mobility and stability, quadricep flexibility, and ankle and knee stability on both sides of the body. Cut a strip of tape the length of the lower leg from the bump below the kneecap to the floor. Place the tape on the floor so that it is centered in the doorway. Stand over the tape with the toes of the rear foot touching the back end of the tape and the heel of the front foot touching the front end of the tape. The front leg indicates the side being tested. Place a dowel rod across the shoulders. Lower the back knee and touch the tape. The heel of the front foot should remain flat on the floor. The feet should be on the same line and pointing straight throughout this movement. Perform the lunge 3 times on each side in a slow, controlled fashion. Completion of the movement is considered a pass if all criteria are met. Minimal to no upper body movement. The feet remain on the tape. Back knee touching the heel of the front foot. Dowel not touching the wall or not tipping left or right. If you're unable to complete the movement within the criteria provided, you receive a fail for the movement. Take up to 3 chances per side. The purpose of the active straight leg raise screen is to assess stride flexibility while maintaining a stable pelvis and active extension of the opposite leg. Begin on your back with the arms at your sides, palms up, and head flat on the floor. The midpoint between the hip and the top of the bend of the knee should be in line with the front of the door frame. Lift the leg closest to the doorway while keeping the foot flexed and knee extended. The outside leg should remain in contact with the floor. The head should remain flat on the floor and the arms should not move. Earn a passing grade only if all 4 criteria are met. Outside ankle bone clears the door jamb. Outside leg does not move. The foot of the outside leg should point straight upward for the entire test. The knee of the outside leg should remain extended without the slightest degree of flexion. If you're unable to complete the movement within the criteria provided, you receive a fail for the movement. The purpose of the seated rotation screen is to assess upper trunk stability during a combined upper and lower body movement. Begin by sitting upright on the floor, back straight, with legs crossed. One foot should be on each side of the door jamb. Hold a dowel above the chest, touching your collarbones and the front of both shoulders at all times. With your back straight, rotate to each side, touching the dowel to the door frame. Avoid leaning toward the door or bending the spine in any direction. Give a passing grade if all 3 criteria are met. The dowel touches the wall, the dowel is level and in contact with the chest, and the spine remains straight and upright. If you're unable to complete the movement within the criteria provided, you receive a fail for the movement. Take up to 3 chances per side.